All right, let's lighten things up. We will move on now to movie reviews, little TV reviews, maybe some sports, all things culture. It is Michael Snyder, everybody, and he comes and goes on a rainbow. Welcome in, Michael Snyder.
I am happy to be a little beam of light, a little ray of sunshine in an
Oh,
otherwise gloomy circumstance. Kim,
yeah.
great to have
Sorry.
Mark back. You've been doing yeoman work.
Thank
Albert,
you.
happy holidays. Merry Christmas to all. That's right. It ain't over yet. Today is the fifth day of the 12 days of Christmas, with
Oh.
seven more to come until 12th night. And yeah, my big question here is, where are my five golden rings? I want my five golden rings. Where are they?
I have to thank you, Michael Snyder, for really being that ray of sunshine in all of 2023 and coming in, wrapping up the week for us on Fridays with some spirit and some jokes and some fun. You are so appreciated.
Oh, thanks, Kim. And,
Yeah.
New Year's Day is going to be here this coming Monday. And may it just be the first of 365 new days in an entire year that
Yeah.
moves forward in real time and ends on December 31st, 2024. Or we are really screwed, okay? I mean, it better be business as usual, you know?
When yeah, you are the partier. You are all over the place in Los Angeles and San Francisco and going to these hip, cool, artsy kind of places. What are you doing on New Year's Eve?
Well, I will probably watch the ball drop,
Okay.
and I'm talking about my
Oh,
adolescent cousin.
what?
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Not him. Anyway,
Yeah.
I will probably watch a little New York Times Square fun, and what
Okay.
have you. And then I'm in Los Angeles this weekend, and I'm going to go to the Constellation Club at the Formosa, the legendary Formosa restaurant and bar, where Sinatra and the Rat Pack and many other famous people used to socialize back in the day for Chinese food and cocktails. And the
Yeah.
Constellation Club is a very groovy event with deep cut soul and R&B and rock music of the discotheque era, late 60s, early 70s. And I think it's going to be real glamorous and a lot of fun. So that's
Whoa.
my plan for New Year's Eve. And then New Year's Day, I'm just going to kick back like everybody else. Maybe do one of those Southern breakfast, lunch, and dinner situations where you
Yeah.
you know you have black-eyed peas for good luck. I don't even remember what the menu is supposed to represent, but there is a special luck menu people in the South present to one another
Yeah.
on New Year's Day, and maybe I'll go for that.
Do you have any resolutions?
No, I don't, because I don't want to put any pressure on myself. The world does enough of that, right?
That's true. That's true. We have enough pressure as it is. All right. Tell me what's going on at the big movies.
Well, we've covered most of the important films over the course of the past few months, the ones that are awards bait and what have you. And there are a few that have fallen through the cracks or come to streaming that I just wanted to quickly let you know about. And they're all pretty mediocre. And then I think, we should probably talk about my favorite films of the year, since this is our last broadcast of 2023. So I'll just kick off this like mini review segment with Rebel Moon Part One: A Child of Fire, which is a new film from movie maker Zack Snyder. No relation. I have no relation to this guy. He has made some films I really like Watchmen and 300. And he's made some that I've been like on the fence about, like Man of Steel, as he moved into being the major creative force behind DC Comics movies over the past decade or so. And he also made the initial cut and then had to put on his, editor's cap and do a revised director's cut of Justice League, which was taken from him because of personal circumstances he was facing by movie maker and TV creator Joss Whedon. And he's very much a dividing force in fandom. Some people love his work, others don't. And Rebel Moon Part One shows why, I shrug at a lot of his movies. It is a sci-fi thing that folds in a lot of familiar tropes and reflects years and years of bigger, more important films. For instance, this movie calls to mind Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, which influenced a very famous science fiction franchise, and that's George Lucas's Star Wars. And there are elements of the first Star Wars film, Chapter 4, New Hope, in Rebel Moon. And essentially, a young woman who is trying to get away from things on a farming community on some small asteroid or mini planet finds herself brought into a revolutionary situation when the villainous fascist regime comes down and tries to basically abuse these farmers and take all of their crops, basically leaving them destitute. And so this radicalizes this young woman, and she teams up with a bunch of different various and sundry comrades, and they try to bring down this fascist interstellar government. You do get some actors I like, such as Sofia Boutella as the main character, the reluctant freedom fighter Cora, Jimon Hunsu as a rebel general, and you get Ed Skrein. Yeah, he's wonderful. Ed Skrein as a villainous officer working for this, fascist, galaxy-wide. I don't know how big their reach is, but it's a government, and they're not very pleasant. Michael Huisman, Duna Bai, Ray Fisher, Charlie Hunnam, and Jenna Malone, and you even get Anthony Hopkins voicing a friendly robot. So there is talent here, but it's so derivative, and it kind of plods along too. And this is only part one. This guy's pretty long-winded. His Justice League cut, I think, ended up being pushing 4 hours, if I'm not mistaken. So you've got what is meant to be an epic science fiction and fantasy, like a big franchise tentpole of sorts. And I kept going, get to the point, which is what I should say about this review. This is a mediocre film, Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. The guy's got talent. There's visual flair for days here, but that's insufficient to make this fun and exciting so far. There will be a part 2 this coming year, and again, this is available via Netflix, so you could just watch it at home and make up your own mind if you want.
Tom is dinging you for derivative, so we'll take it.
Well, yeah, sure. Whatever you say, Tom. Moving on, I get a big kick out of Please Don't Destroy, the 3-man comedy troupe of writers on Saturday Night Live who, for the past season and a little more, have been doing these sort of pre-recorded skits that last between 3 and 5 minutes on the show. And, they're kind of sly, self-deprecating, vignettes that show that these 3 nerdy, goofy, clumsy millennials don't know what they're doing and are butting heads, but are pretty funny in the process. And they usually incorporate whoever the guest host is. I enjoy these guys. And in fact, they're 3 legacy comedy writer performers. Their dads are all SNL veterans. I believe I know one of them in particular. I guess his name is John Higgins. I think his father is like one of the producers and the sidekick on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Martin Herlihy is one of the 3, and Ben Marshall. And they're just, they're entertaining in small bursts. But this is a feature-length film called Please Don't Destroy, the name of the troupe, The Treasure of Foggy Mountain. And there are a few laughs to be had here. But what rocks over the course of 5 minutes on an episode of SNL is pretty exhausting over the course of 90 minutes, even with Conan O'Brien playing the abusive father of one of the guys, the red-haired one, of course, and Bowen Yang of SNL as a conniving cult leader whose followers live on the titular mountain, Foggy Mountain, and of course, as the 3 guys pursue the treasure that they think will make them all millionaires multiple times over, they encounter this cult. I gave it every break, and it wasn't terrible. but it also wasn't the sort of thing where I went, oh, we'd love another movie from Please Don't Destroy. Please don't destroy your short vignettes on SNL, guys, but you may want to rethink doing a feature film. I wasn't,
Oh,
again,
yeah.
this one is on Peacock, so it's streaming and available. And I want to also point out the narrator of the movie is John Goodman. So again, there is talent here, but
Right.
it wasn't funny enough. Let's put it that way.
Hmm. That's too
And
bad.
I know, and I know this is a little late, but I did want to talk briefly about Candy Cane Lane, which is Eddie Murphy's holiday comedy, which came out very recently
I tried to
via
watch
those.
that.
Yeah,
Wah,
it's
wah, wah, wah.
it's on Amazon. Essentially, it's about a guy who lives on what people come to call Candy Cane Lane. It's a couple of blocks in Los Angeles, or the Los Angeles area, where people go all out for the holidays to make the most lavish and dazzling of Christmas displays. And it's very competitive on the part of everyone. And in fact, a friend of mine lives in a house on an actual LA area, Candy Cane Lane, which is so jammed up with cars during the holidays. This is no joke, that it can take an hour to drive one block. And that fact in itself is more exciting than this movie. And
Hmm.
I have to also point out that there's talent here. Tracy Ellis Ross, so
Yep.
good in American Fiction, plays the Eddie Murphy character's wife. You've got a few other talented people. You have like Jillian Bell playing a kind of rogue elf who brings trouble down on Eddie Murphy's character and his family when he tries to go all out to win the big prize, being offered to the most lavish decorations on Candy Cane Lane in the year that this movie is supposed to take place. It
Yeah.
just wasn't funny enough.
It wasn't
Again,
the acting, it was the story.
yeah, they were just mediocre.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
yeah, toothless, if you will. And Ron Howard produced it. Reginald Hudlin, a really good director, was the guy in charge of helming this movie. I just the script by Kelly Younger. I don't want to like single Kelly Younger out, but the script was pretty feeble, and the jokes were not all that funny. And yet, Eddie Murphy, charismatic to the max.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
is. I mean, and
so
part of it's nice to see him again, and I'm back on the screen and the lead, but I was disappointed in that movie.
yeah, I want to make one more quick note about movies I haven't discussed yet that came
Yes.
out this year that I think are worthwhile. And the movie I wanted to talk very briefly about is called Past Lives, and it didn't make my top 10 for the year, but it is one of the best films I've seen this year, and it is it's ambitious in terms of the emotional content. It's a small film. It's about a young woman from Korea, South Korea, who basically grows up in New York and is separated from a childhood friend, and they reunite in New York many, many years later, and think about their relationship, talk about the relationship, and their sort of puppy love, and it's a beautiful, very well acted film, which is written and directed by Celine Song, and stars a somewhat familiar face as the young woman in the central role here, Greta Lee. If you saw Russian Doll, she was the main character's best friend, and she was very engaging there. And generally speaking, I try to like get these like smaller movies or less publicized films in front of the Mark Thompson show audience, and
Mhm.
this is something I just missed. It fell through the cracks, which happens on occasion.
Oh,
Past Lives
no.
is a beautiful, beautiful movie, and I highly recommend it. If you have an opportunity to see it, I believe it's available VOD right now, and it just very moving, witty, and touching. I
Is
really,
it
really loved it.
is it subtitles or is it in
Uh,
English?
when they speak Korean, yes, it's subtitled, but
Oh,
much of it is in English. And
okay.
again, It's absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
Speaking of great movies, should we talk a little bit about my favorite films of 2023? Do we have the
Please.
time?
I have my pencil and I'm ready to write down the Michael Snyder list. Go ahead.
All right, all right, all right. We're going to go alphabetical because that's the easiest way to do it. These are movies. I couldn't possibly see every release over the past 12 months, but the
Mhm.
ones I caught, these were the ones that were the standouts. American Fiction, very impressive debut feature from director and screenwriter Cord Jefferson. American Fiction, it's crackling satire in the context of an interpersonal dramedy, spiky and funny and savvy. A look at the inescapable impact of racial stereotyping, social status, and public perception in the digital world. And Jeffrey Wright is absolutely superb as Monk, an intellectually evolved but self-important Black
Mhm.
scholar and author from a well-to-do but dysfunctional family that still plagues him. And his career takes this bizarre turn when he cranks out a fake ghetto memoir as a joke, and it becomes a sensation. Loved American Fiction. Um, Dream Scenario is the darkly comic and thoughtful showcase for Nicolas Cage's talents. It's his latest impactful movie, and it offers one of his absolutely finest performances. He's a hapless college professor whose career and marriage are in a rut. And suddenly, millions of people are seeing him in their dreams, turning him into a celebrity. And as this phenomenon of I don't know, benign nocturnal appearances goes viral, he tries to profit off it. But things change as quickly as they started. Christopher Borg, who wrote the bracing script and directed it with flair, has given Cage what I believe is truly a dream role in a movie. Very smart, with less than flattering things to say about modern culture and society. The Holdovers is number 3 on the list. And again, these are in alphabetical order. I don't say that one is better than the other. They're all pretty terrific. The Holdovers is about 3 people thrown together during Christmas break at a New England prep school in 1970. They are a very mean-spirited teacher played by Paul Giamatti, an emotionally damaged student played by newcomer Dominic Sessa. He can't go home for the holidays. And the facility's head cook, played by Divine Joy Randolph, and she deserves every accolade coming her way during award season, as does Giamatti and Sessa. This is about them bonding and surviving this chilly late December in 1970. Timeless slice of humanity, very wise and moving film from the great director and screenwriter Alexander Payne, who did Sideways and About Schmidt. All right, here's one that's a little off the beaten track. I
Okay.
don't think a lot of people have mentioned it. How to Blow Up a Pipeline, which is about an unlikely team of environmental activists who want to take on the fossil fuel industry and more. This is one of the smartest and best executed thrillers I've seen in a long time. Relative unknowns in the cast, and it's a detailed portrait of this committed group of rebels, how they came together, and a really tense depiction of their plan and how it may or may not achieve their ends, with kind of treacherous possibilities in front of them. It's adapting a book by Andreas Malm, and it's very cinema verite, and director-screenwriter Daniel Goldhaber has delivered a movie that's topical and relevant and volatile, action and mystery and character study. I loved it. Killers of the Flower Moon finds the master of the cinematic arts, Martin Scorsese, in great form. This is a triumph, and it is an expansive and stirring investigation into the notorious reign of terror that plagued the Osage Nation in Oklahoma, the Native American tribe, during the 20s. This is a long movie, almost 3.5 hours, but it never lags. Historical epic about the persecution of the Native American population. It's a murder mystery and police procedural. It's a love story, multiple family saga, and a tale of culture clash. And Scorsese expertly orchestrates this, and it's enriched by fantastic performances from Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Jesse Plemons, and Lily Gladstone, the latter of whom almost steals the film, the least known of the four actors, Killers of the Flower Moon. Monster is Hirokazu Koreeda's latest film. This guy's the world-class Japanese director who has made these movies that invariably cause me to tear up. That's right, me, the hard ass. Koreeda makes films that move me to tears. Shoplifters, Broker, the incredibly heartbreaking Nobody Knows, all of which have to do with the well-being of children at risk for the most part, even though they're very different films. And he has continued this impressive string with Monster, which also concerns child welfare, although here in the context of school bullying and parental neglect and the implicit failings of educational systems. Beautiful, beautiful film, and all the bizarre and different points of view that look at this thing either distort or show only a small part of the bigger picture, which reminds me a little bit of, I will bring him up again, Akira Kurosawa, but in this case, his movie Rashomon. Oppenheimer, truly a blockbuster at 3 hours long. It's filmmaker Christopher Nolan's epic and meticulously rendered movie biography of J. Robert Oppenheimer, who was the father of the A-bomb, and it has all the majesty and fearful power of a nuclear explosion. That's right, I said it. Anyway, Cillian Murphy from Peaky Blinders is haunting as Oppenheimer, the brilliant left-leaning physicist whose approach to building a bomb would defeat the Axis in World War II and also launched the atomic age. Great performances by Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, and Kenneth Branagh among the cast members, and Florence Pugh as Oppenheimer's lover and Emily Blunt as his wife. It is thrilling, absorbing, and meaningful. Poor Things is next on the list. Stunning in every sense of the word. It's the latest ambitious and invariably idiosyncratic presentation from the maverick Greek director Yorgos Lanthimos. And this is a reimagining of the tale of Frankenstein as unhinged social commentary. And it mixes body horror, sexual politics, feminist manifesto, and a kind of Candide-like coming-of-age story set in Britain in the late 1800s at first. Willem Dafoe plays a deformed, controlling genius, and in his lab, he resurrects a young woman named Bella. But when she's brought to life and she finds what life is about and starts to discover her autonomy, things do not go the way the scientist planned. Mark Ruffalo is great in a supporting role as a conniving lawyer, and a terrific performance by Emma Stone as Bella, the newborn, fully grown woman. Let's move on to The Taste of Things, which is set in the Sylvan French countryside circa 1885, and it's a beautiful, passion-infused and appetite-sharpening mix of Belle Epoque period drama, love story, and foodie movie from the award-winning French-Vietnamese filmmaker Tran Anh Hung, who is the maker of The Scent of Green Papaya, another lovely film with a food connection. And this features Juliette Binoche as incandescent. Oh, she's wonderful. She glows here as Eugenie, whose kitchen skills have enhanced the reputation of her boss, Dodin, as one of the great chefs of the era. Dodin, played by Benoit Magimel, wants to woo Eugenie and get her to commit to their 2 decades romance by preparing exquisite meals for her. And we are party to the preparation and consumption of these glorious repasts. And I'll just wrap up my top 10 with The Zone of Interest, which is a chilling and chilly movie from British director and co-screenwriter Jonathan Glazer. It's an adaptation of the novel by Martin Amis about the mundane but privileged family life of an SS officer who serves as the commandant of the Auschwitz concentration camp during World War II. His wife and children live with him in a nice house next to the camp, and they go about their daily endeavors, entertaining guests, unfazed by the evil happening beyond their garden wall. This is a powerful movie and a very fascinating and original take on the Holocaust. I thought The Zone of Interest draining and absolutely brilliant. So that's my top 10. Maybe
Awesome.
I'll talk about some of my other favorites with Mark next week, things that didn't make the cut. But I definitely want to talk briefly about some TV programs that have come to my
Yeah.
attention. What do
We
you
don't have
say?
we don't have a lot of time left. So what are we looking at on TV? What are if I'm looking for something new to watch, what's the Michael Snyder recommendation?
Well, I'll tell you what. I will have to say that I don't know that it would necessarily be your cup of tea,
Okay.
because we all have different tastes and what have you.
Yeah.
But I actually have had a great time watching Such Brave Girls on Hulu. It's created and written by Kat Sadler, a young woman in the UK, a comedian and comedy writer, and she and her sister in real life, Lizzie Davidson, play 20-something sisters, Josie, depressed and suicidal and closeted, and Billy, who is desperate for attention, sex obsessed and a little dim, and with their nightmare of a single mother, are the most selfish and needy family imaginable, and they are brutally funny. Such Brave Girls is 6 half-hour episodes, and I loved it, and
Cool.
it's just absolutely brilliant. And I also quickly want to mention two animated things. Blue Eye Samurai on Netflix is one of the most beautiful animated things I've ever seen, film or television, and it's a period drama set in Japan, and our titular samurai is a half-breed. A Westerner has basically mated with a Japanese woman, and the child is an outcast because at that juncture in history, Japan wanted to eliminate any and all white interlopers from the country. And it's just exciting and funny, and again, one of the most beautifully animated things I have ever seen in my entire movie and TV going experience.
There's never been anything like this.
Okay, and the next one?
Well, I will stick it to animation. What If Season 2 from Marvel via Disney Plus. And again, maybe you're not a Marvel fan. Maybe you are. And this is a series of half-hour animated stories that suggest what would happen if things didn't play out as we know them to play out in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I just want to tell you, the voice actors reprising their live action roles from Marvel movies include Kate Blanchett, Jeffrey Wright, Sam Jackson, Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston, Haley Atwell, Benedict Cumberbatch, Paul Rudd, Mark Ruffalo, Michael Douglas, Sam Rockwell, and more. So they all committed to this thing, and it's fascinating. If you are a Marvel fan, this is a wonderful, wonderful set of stories. And again, it's the second season, both of which are available on Disney Plus.
Okay, well, I have written down your list. And if anybody wants the list, please email me, kim@theafterparty.live, and I will send it out to you. Michael Snyder, thank you for being here. Happy New Year, my friend.
Same to you. And honest to God, I want to thank everybody involved in the Mark Thompson Show. Happy New Year to all. May you never get too old to forget the lang syne or to make some good new times with your acquaintances, be they old or otherwise.
Thank you, Michael Snyder. Happy New Year to you. He comes and goes on a rainbow. Snyder.
Hey, go Niners!
Go Niners indeed.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell, you'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.